Hi, this is Melissa from Working on Calm, and today I'm going to walk you through the process known as RAIN, and it's a way to mindfully process our anxious thoughts and emotions. And I recently wrote an article that was published for the ADAA, or the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, walking readers through these steps. I'll put a link in case you want to read the whole article or check out their resources on their website. There's a lot of good stuff there for anyone who has anxiety or depression. So what mindfulness is simply being in the present moment without judgment. And that sounds lovely, especially if you're someone who's usually caught up in some really anxious thoughts. But it sounds good, but can be difficult to actually know, what does that mean? How do I do it? And I like to write about these sorts of things and have been working on them myself. And one technique that I have found really useful, it's a good framework, and it's something you can actually implement, is called RAIN. And so it's an acronym, and it's essentially a 4-step process. So the R stands for recognize, and that's simply labeling what's happening. You'd be surprised how powerful putting a name on what's happening in your mind and body, how helpful that can be. The A stands for allow. That's where instead of trying to change it or being mad that it's happening to us, we simply sit back and allow it to unfold. We allow it to be present. The I is for investigate, and that's where we start to play more of the role of a curious observer. Rather than being judgy, we instead just identify what's going on in our body and our minds. And it's much more the role of like a curious researcher or scientist or concerned mother than someone who's passing judgment. And then N is for nurture or natural awareness or non-identification, depending on who is talking about the model. But essentially, it's a reminder to practice self-compassion and to provide ourselves with the reassurance that we need, and also to remember that this is all passing and fleeting. It's, our thoughts and emotions are transitory, and that's part of that natural awareness of just how life unfolds. So if you're still kind of like, well, what does this really look like? Let me walk you through an example. So let's say that I'm feeling anxious and I start to recognize it in myself. So I pause for a moment, and part of that recognition is to say, I'm anxious right now. It's making me irritable, I'm uncomfortable, and I don't like what's happening. That's recognize. The next step is to allow. And that's to say, it may be uncomfortable, but I know that this is just me being anxious. I've been here before. I can sit back. I can let this happen, let this unfold, and see what happens instead of trying to change it. Then I can transition more into that investigate. All right, so what's really happening? Well, my chest feels really tight. All of a sudden, my heart rate is starting to pick up. My head's hurting a little, or my stomach is flushing with acid. I start to identify where I'm feeling my anxiety in my body. And then that will bring me to the N, which is to nurture. I can say, well, what's happening right now is I probably had too much coffee today. I'm just feeling anxious because sometimes that's how my body and mind respond. And what I probably need is to feel safe. So I'm going to put my hand on my chest and I'm going to tell myself, I'm okay. This is going to pass. Soon I will feel better. And I remind myself that I've been here before, that I can do this, and that I'll feel better in just a few minutes. If you like this, check out the article, or you can follow Working on Calm. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all under the Working on Calm handle. Or you can subscribe through YouTube if you prefer videos, and check out the article. Another thing I offer is Take 5. It's a weekly newsletter with 5 ideas to inspire a calmer mind and body. You can check that out at workingoncalm.com/newsletter. Good luck trying RAIN. I hope it works for you.